Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Today is February the 27th, and we have a show in store for you today. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. So, today we have a pretty good show in store for you today, and I hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, we're going to jump right into it for you. And the first thing we're going to jump into is Byron Donald speaking on how Joe Biden was the first to allow someone that wasn't authorized to have access to something that they weren't supposed to have access to. So let's take a listen to this.
You have Bernie Sanders, a Marxist, who's still out there talking about tax cuts for billionaires, tax cuts for billionaires, while the federal government's wasting $1 trillion. What does this have to do with tax cuts for billionaires when the federal government's wasting $1 trillion and the Democrats don't think it's enough?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this very simple thing. They love the massive bloat and waste because it's like you said, Mark, they get to fit all of their little pet projects underneath the covers where nobody can see it. You got Stacey Abrams and one of her climate fund groups is supposed to get $2 billion when if you look at their tax returns, their revenue is only $100 and they're getting $2 billion. This is the kind of stuff. They're so upset about Elon Musk and the Doge team having access to the Internal Revenue Service data into the Treasury payment system. But there's a report that came out the other day that under Joe Biden, he let 53 researchers and students, unpaid people, go in and actually have full access to the data of the American people at the IRS. Joe Biden's administration let that happen. So they have no problem with the waste and the fraud and the abuse as long as their special interest groups are being funded and their ideology is being promoted regardless of the will of the American people. But our country can't simply survive that. We are very thankful that Donald Trump and his team are saying enough is enough. They are going to save this nation for the American people and begin the process of restoring a constitutional republic.
There you have it. Byron Donalds lays down the law with truth. And it's not a game like we have been perceiving in the past with other things. And Braubert actually covered this. And it says here that Joe Biden allows 53 researchers, student volunteers to access the IRS data, which everyone complained. Elon Musk has a whole bunch of 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds accessing things they shouldn't be having access to. Oh, but these people weren't even authorized. These people weren't vetted. These people just had access, and they were around the same age, and no one knows the real reason why he did it other than for research purposes. What were they researching? Why did they have access to this? At least with Elon Musk, we know this man's had access to your credit card information and your financial information since the days of PayPal. But far be it from him to even care for what you have in your bank accounts. He just cares if you're spending money. He doesn't need access to it to take money from you because the federal government's been doing that the entire time. And a lot of Americans don't seem to understand that. But the media spins a story and a narrative that is contraindicative of that. They spin this narrative that presents as if Elon Musk has some nefarious plans with your social security number and your financial information, when in all actuality, he's had access to it the entire time. So moving on, the layoffs continue. Mass layoffs continue, and the people are not happy about it. With these mass layoffs, we have USAID saying there's a bloodbath as Trump continues to tear through them. But it's not just USAID. He's tearing through every single thing with impunity. And the Democrats and some of the media's outlets are saying, hey, he can't do this. Why are we allowing this man to do this? He can't do this. Well, he kind of can because the judge says, hey, you can. So not only was he approved by a judge last week to say that he can continue with the layoffs of these probationary period individuals. Now we have the CIA being cut in half because of DEI hires, and they're as you can see here, Forbes says that he's winning and losing in court. No, he is only winning. Stop trying to spin a narrative that this man is not having success in the things that he is trying to do, because he is in all actuality having success. And it is, like I mentioned last week, extremely constitutional for what he's doing. The judge has given him a green light to do this last week and given him the green light to do it this week. But for some odd reason, we have this presentation that Trump can't do this, but then a judge says he can, and the media wants to spin a narrative that he's losing. But under Article 2, Section 3, Trump has the power to enforce the law. And essentially, he's putting these people on notice, and those that are put on notice are then put on leave, and then they're let go if their job is seen as something that is not needed. And then we go right into the fact that all these people are crying about it. We have news outlets saying things like this.
President Donald Trump and advisor Elon Musk are planning to fire thousands of federal workers this week, many of them facing a midnight deadline proving what work they completed last week. Elon Musk making the demand over the weekend at the request of President Donald Trump to, quote, get more aggressive.
And as he should get more aggressive. And when is accountability for what you're doing a problem? And why is it a problem? You should want to be held accountable. You should want individuals telling you what you can and can't do, and to check up to see if you're doing your job. It's become this trend in the United States of America since the boomer era that people have this ideology and this mindset that, oh, because I'm here and I got the job and I've been here for a while, I can kind of sort of kick back and schmooze a little bit. Those days are long gone. As long as Donald Trump is in office, you won't get to sit on your duff and not produce. He did this last time he was a president, but he got major kickback and major pushback saying that you can't force people to do things that they don't want to do. Well, it's your job. And in the federal government, being that you are only takers, it's your job to make sure you're doing your job. If you want to keep getting paid, do your job. It's this weird ideology that people think that the federal government stimulates the economy. They don't. We pay their checks. They don't get a paycheck without us. So we pay them. They use their money to pay into the system as well, which feeds right back into their pockets. These people are no different than a leech. The only difference is they're supposed to be helping us, and they get to live peacefully and happily off of us. Without us, they don't get to live in that way. But MSNBC did something really, really interesting. They made a compilation of people crying. So let's check that out.
I'm Oleg Shmura.
I am Dr. Ben Andrew.
My name is Cody Anderson.
My name is Katie Sandlin.
My name is Andrew Lennox.
My name is Nick Hand.
I'm Riley Ratcliffe.
My name is Jonathan Cannons. I oversaw cybersecurity for the VA.gov websites, and about a third of USDS, including me, were fired last week. Without people like me ensuring that VA.gov is secure, the private financial and healthcare data of Americans' veterans is at risk of being stolen, sold to the highest bidder, and used to harm people.
We are standing in Yosemite National Park. For the past 10 months, I was a custodial worker here. I picked diapers off the side of the road, toilet paper, beer bottles, cigarette butts, you name it, so you didn't have to see it.
And I served as the Chief of Safety and Emergency Management at the Philadelphia VA. This was a mission-critical role that ensured the health and safety of all those who entered into our facility.
I moved from Alabama to Maryland to start my new job in genomics education and outreach at the National Institutes of Health. My job was to help educate students, teachers, and healthcare providers about genomics to improve patient care and develop the future scientific workforce.
Genomics. Notice that all of these people were reading. It's like having a teleprompter, kind of like what I have, and they're reading. The difference between me, I'm using it to stay on cue. They're using it to read a speech that was created by some paper pusher at MSNBC to make you feel a certain type of way. And notice that all of these people look pretty homely. With the exception of maybe one or two, they look pretty homely. They look pretty sad. They look pretty weak and pouty, and like they needed these jobs. The last 10 months you've been walking around picking up trash in a national park. Congratulations. We hire prisoners to do that. You could be replaced by a prisoner. Why we aren't using prisoners to do this anyway is beyond me. I see it all of the time traveling up and down major highways where they have prisoners down there picking up trash. Why don't we have this instead of paying some person that's been with the government for 10 whole months, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do nothing? You're a waste of space, a waste of time. We can give that same job to a prisoner who either does it for free or for a very small rate and actually be more productive than you, because those people get to get out and go do something. But MSNBC makes this video to placate and appeal to your emotions and make you feel a certain type of way that so many people are losing their jobs, and mission critical jobs. Your jobs can be done by prisoners and computers. Legitimately, we can do this, most of these jobs, with one person that presses a button, turns around, presses another button. You aren't that important. And for whatever reason, you've been sold this dream or thought process that you are important. Clearly, if it takes you to have over a year or up to a year probationary period, you're not that important. You're expendable. And again, you're a taker, not a giver. And we need more givers, because our federal government already takes enough as is. So good riddance. I don't feel sorry for you or anyone in the CIA or any other, government branch, because you guys are only taking. And it's you're taking from us. You're not the same as us if you work for the federal government. So I don't understand why they would make a video like this of them crying. I don't care about their feelings and won't care about their feelings, because get a real job, as they would say to some of us. But moving right along, Trump fired his Joint Chief of Staff after being notified of a potential coup. And I actually have over here something to read from that. The saga began on January 15th, 2025, when the O'Keefe Media Group released some uncovered footage featuring Jermaine, I'm going to butcher this last name, Manania, a senator advisor or senior advisor to the Joint Chief of Staff and the former FBI special agent and a former FBI special agent. In the video, Manina, employed by the defense contractor Booz Allen Hamilton, was recorded speaking with an undercover O'Keefe Media Group journalist. He allegedly admitted to participating in a huge meeting with the military leaders, i.e. Mr. Dan Kane, in secure Pentagon room known as the Tank, a sensitive compartmentalized information facility, SCFI for short. According to Mananina, these discussions involved retired generals, some as high-ranking as a 4-star officer, and focus strategies to protect people from Trump. We already have governors like Mr. Pritzker, aka I need to lose weight, aka Porcelain Prince, out here Trump-proofing their state, which is dumb in itself. But now we have these clandestine meetings, by upper echelon military personnel, or generals rather, holding meetings that are trying to take Trump out. What's crazy is that we get these pictures painted, according to Mananina, of efforts to establish a resistance of authority against this man. And people on the left always gripe and moan, oh, Trump only wants loyalists. He only wants loyalists. Yes, because you need loyalists when you have people like this on the other side chopping at the bits and forming these little groups that are essentially resistance groups. And we know what happens to all the resistance groups. They get snuffed out and then put out, just like Dan King did. And rightfully so, because these people are selling us a dream that's not necessarily true. Moving on, one of the greatest men of all time, in my personal opinion, and someone that I hold to a high esteem, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino gets picked for Deputy FBI Director, and this is a position that is so well deserved, so well earned. I would have personally have liked to see him as the director to the FBI, but his time will come. This man has been a post and a pillar in the political realm, and we see, as you can see here, lawmakers sounding off on him, complaining about him. Why? Because he's a conservative. Okay, and you have people that were liberals and other ideologies and value systems that went against this in every way, shape, and form. So we see here Dan Bongino is picked for the FBI Deputy Director, and this is a beautiful thing. He so well deserves this position. He's tried to run for office and didn't quite make it. He started to take his career further. And for anyone that's out there, any one of you, come a little bit closer. Any one of you that says this man is not qualified, like you had said about, what was his name? I always butcher his name, but he's a defense secretary. I can't think of his name right now, but you said that he wasn't qualified. If you say this man is not qualified, you're out of your rabbit mind. This man worked as a CIA, or not CIA, but Lord help me, worked as a security personnel for multiple presidents, for Bill Clinton, for Bush, and Obama. He got to be hand in hand on security details, walking presidents to and from places and taking care of these valuable, important people. And he laid his life on the line every single day. Not only that, he was a New York police officer. This man is someone that has got to be Secret Service, got to be a police officer, and dedicated his life to serving you, to serving us, to serving presidents, to making sure that we are safe. And he took it very, very seriously. And then after that career was all said and done, he enters the realm of political commentary. And he has toppled some great names, and he has never lied to us. And I try to also employ the Dan Bongino rule. When something comes out, you don't want to be first, you want to be right. I will wait 3, 4, 5 days, even up to a week or two before I come out with information that is going to shape the future of this country and shape how you think and feel about this country. So this man is not someone I idolize, but I look up to and aspire to be like one day. So bravo, Dan Bongino. Thank you for being you. And I hope that this springboards you into a beautiful future as I see it being for you. Moving right along. I had one more slide. This is President Trump speaking on, Dan Bongino. So let's go ahead and give him his flowers one more time. He says, great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country. That is so true. Has just been named the next deputy director of the FBI by the man who will be the best ever director, Kash Patel. Dan has a master's degree in psychology from CUNY and an MBA from Penn State. He is a member of the a former member of the New York Police Department, which they call him New York's finest. A highly respected special agent with the United States Secret Service. I couldn't think of that earlier. I apologize. And is now one of the most successful podcasters in the country. Something he is willing and prepared to give up in order to serve. That is so very important. He's willing to give up what feeds his family to take less money to take another opportunity to serve our country. Trump finishes up by saying, working with our great new United States Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and Director Patel, fairness, justice, law, and order will be brought back to America, and quickly. Congratulations, Dan. Thank you, President Trump, for putting Kash Patel in office and giving Dan Bongino this opportunity. Next up, we have Canada. Good old Canada. And my question to you is, Canada preparing for something? Why are they beefing up their military? And they're removing restrictions. They're looking to beef up their military by removing restrictions. You can now be obese. You can have ADD, ADHD, all things that would be contraindicative to what a good military would have. They're allowing now. Why? Hold on to that thought. We will revisit that possibly later. But moving right along, we're going to go to the Congo. We're going to jump right into the Congo. 70 Christians are beheaded. 70 Christians are beheaded. And I had a different direction I would have wanted to go with this, but this cannot be ignored because nowhere is really talking about it. Newsweek mentioned it briefly, and they're like, 70 Christians beheaded, what we know. And there's no outrage. If this was Palestine or Jews or Muslims, people would lose their ever-loving mind. But because it's Christians, it does not matter. And the president of the Congo is wanting to make mineral deals to stop war over there. How about you be a man, sack up, and shut down ISIS, as they call it, from taking over, because really it's the Islamic movement. It has nothing to do with the terror group ISIS. It has everything to do with the Islamic movement. You're a weak president. You're a weak president, Mr. President of the Congo. You're a weak man because you're needing someone else that has a bigger stick to come in and help you when you can't even control and protect people that are coming there to share the love of God with you. So I'm not very happy about this as a Christian. And it's the world is silent on this. And it's not even the fact that I'm a Christian. It's the fact that 70 individuals lost their life from a gruesome and grotesque manner of execution. For what? A belief system? Nowhere else in the world is this really allowed except for Africa, the continent of Africa, and certain parts of the Middle East. And, maybe other countries that have allowed this disease, yes, I called Islam a disease, to sneak into their country and cause mayhem. We have issues with people that are of the Islamic faith calling people infidels and then mowing them down with vehicles in France and in Germany and other countries. And because they have no guns to defend themselves, they use these vehicles as weapons, and no one puts a stop to it. No one puts a stop to it. So no, I don't think we should give this man, I guess you can call him that, a deal. I really don't. Screw him and screw his country. If you can't fix it, no one needs to fix it. Let them take over. They try to take over everything else. Let them take over, and then we can bomb the hell out of them. Yeah, because they're a terror group, right? And we can bomb the hell out of them. I'm down for that. I'm with that, because the only way to get Scourge off the earth is to eradicate it. So say what you will about my opinion on that, but that is my opinion, and I will stand on that 10 toes down on it. So if you're playing this in the future from another aspect or vantage point, yeah, I said it. And I stand 10 toes down on those words, and I will say that until the Lord chooses to take the last breath from my lungs, because this is disgusting and shouldn't be allowed. And the fact that the world essentially is silent on it shows where we stand as a people and as Christians. And Christians, you need to stand up and say something. You don't need to do something, but you need to say something. But moving on off that soapbox quite quickly, we're going to go to good old Zelensky. He wants a mineral deal too, like that excuse for a man in the Congo. Except for this excuse for a man wants a deal because Trump ain't playing around. We have this whole thing. First, Colombia folded, then Panama, then Mexico, then Canada, and now Ukraine. They're all caving in at the hand of Trump because this man is a negotiating mastermind. If you've never read Order of the Deal, you should. To give you a true insight on who Trump is, you should read that book, because all of these people are folding and caving in and giving Trump exactly what he wants, which doesn't just benefit Trump's legacy, it benefits the United States of America. And what's even crazier still, we're going to leave this up for a second. Zelensky wants to make all sorts of deals, and none of these deals seem to be in his favor. He says he will resign for entry into NATO for Ukraine. First and foremost, we already know what will happen immediately if he tries to go into NATO. Russia already said they want nothing in their backyard that's NATO related. And I don't blame them. Why would I want spies and people that snoop and mind others' businesses except for their own in my backyard, crossing borders, crossing lines to hear what I'm saying, what I'm doing? I don't need you in my personal business. If you want to be in my personal business, stop. Get your own. Same thing with this situation. So I don't blame Russia saying, hey, if you put NATO in my backyard, I'm going to bomb the hell out of them. Zelensky is crafty, but not smart. And he's weak and spineless and feckless and a true fascist leader, as he has shut down so many things that allow the people of Ukraine to see and know the truth. But I digress. I digress on that. Zelensky is going to be in the news more and more, so we will revisit that as well. Moving right along, we got eggs. Yeah, more eggs. But gotta love the eggs. Gotta love the eggs. But before we jump totally into the eggs, remember I said, remember how Canada's beefing up their military and letting all sorts of aberrant individuals in? Yeah. What's this alliance that they're trying to do with Ukraine? They're saying that if Trump won't help, they will come and help. So due to Trump's pressure, Ukraine is saying, we need help, we need help. And Canada's like, yeah, we'll come help. Canada, you have 68,000 active members in your military. You're not helping anyone. You can barely help yourself. So what do you think giving 68,000 people to lay their lives down in a war against Russia is going to do for you, besides make your military weaker and put you in a worse spot? You rely heavily on America already, so you might want to back down. But eggs at it again. Eggs are being seized at the Texas border. Why? You got trucks flipping over. You got them destroying eggs because of salmonella, and now they're seizing them at the Texas border. Why? No one truly knows why, but it's happening. And then you have this whole issue with eggs being used in vaccines, and this is apparently, new to my knowledge, been done for a long time, a very long time. And this is how they make vaccines. And then you can look into this even further and find out how egg-based vaccines affect people that have egg allergies. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But my question is, could the price of eggs be going up? And this is slightly conspiratorial, but a question that I present to you guys: could the price of eggs be going up due to them needing to ramp up vaccines? After COVID, I put nothing past these people. So if you think about it, this could be a potential, red flag for future events, because the price of eggs are going up, but the price of chickens ain't. And like we spoke last week, chickens prices are going steady, but the eggs are going up, but you need the chickens to make the eggs. And 100 million chickens have been slaughtered since 2021, and which is consistent with the average numbers, because it was 17 million last year, 17.5 million last year, and they're projecting 20 million plus this year, but it's consistent within, an average. So we have these continuous slaughtering of chickens, which I find to be weird, and the price of chickens aren't going up because they say bird flu, but the egg prices are the thing that's going up. Why? It's something that you should really, really sit back and think about, because it's not for nothing that the prices of eggs are going up, but chickens aren't, when the chickens are being slaughtered at a vastly more high rate. So you have the demand that's high for both chickens and eggs, and you have the supply being very low, supposedly. Why? That's all I want to present to you in this situation, is why. Let yourself think on this and not just dismiss it as conspiratorial, because something is going on. Next up, Trump was not the first to want to do deep budget cuts. As you can see here, we have multiple resources going back saying that he's not the first to do it. Recent cuts initiated by Trump, the Trump administration, and Elon Musk are indicating that they're not the first ones to do it, and it references significant cost cutting initiatives from across the Clinton era. So it's almost like resembling what Clinton did overall, but is it really? Reports highlight the impact of these cuts, including the potential for large-scale federal worker layoffs, which we're already seeing, but that kind of sort of happened under Clinton. So why is it an issue that he does it, or that Trump does it, but not when he did it? The narrative would underscore, the continuous nature or the contentious nature of the budgetary decisions within the Republican Party defending these cuts, while the Democrat parties warn humanity of the drastic things that's going to be happening because of this. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. And like I stated earlier, we don't need all of these people. Most of their jobs can be done by a monkey throwing a ball at a wall and hitting a button. These people are not that important, but they would leave you with the ideology that they are. So with these budget cuts, because they're going to continue, can Trump balanced the budget. I mean, they said that Clinton did it. We saw effects of what Clinton did. So with these budget cuts, could he balance the budget? And why is there so much push from the Democratic Party of stopping this? You didn't say no when Bill Clinton did it, but you're saying no now. Could it be that the federal government has gotten so overly grotesque and large that it's now self-feeding and self-needing, and anything that would reduce what it feeds on is a negative? Because we know both Democrats and Republicans are in on this. But like I said last week, a hit dog hollers, and the Democrats are the only ones that are really hollering. They're the only ones really screaming out, no, stop, this is bad, it's going to hurt the American people. Yeah, we're already hurting. Yeah, you're taxing us left, right, and up and down, and we're bleeding taxes out of our nose, out of our mouth, out of our eyes, out of our ears, out of our anuses, out of our urethras. We're bleeding taxes everywhere, and you don't see any push to stop. This is a problem. We're being pushed into obscurity and survivor mode because the taxes don't stop, yet the gross spending doesn't stop either. So you guys continue to spend more and more and more and ask us for more and more and more, but we don't have more to give. We already see that Social Security supposedly by 2034 is going to be gone, and some people project that it's going to be gone sooner than 2034 because you're doing things like the Ukrainian supplemental bills that was signed into office in 2022 by Joe Biden that gives Ukrainian refugees money from Social Security. HR 7691, if those that are out there want to look into that. But why are we taking money from something that these people aren't paying back into to give to these people whilst we have to pay into it, and you're sucking out faster than we can put into it? Your bank accounts can't grow if you're constantly pulling out of it. You'll be poor quite quickly. So we have this condition in the United States of America where we allow these people to keep doing and keep doing and keep doing and keep doing and keep asking, and we just keep giving. So it's a blessing to have Trump in office doing the things that he's doing, and he's shaking the system up, but he's trying to correct the system and get it back to where it was and not to where it's at, because we are greatly suffering in every way, shape, and form. It's disgusting overall. But moving on from that, we have a black lesbian trying to be Jesus. And we're called religious zealots because we're outraged about it. You damn right I'm outraged about it. You think that, one, Jesus is a joke, so much so that you get to put this disgusting, depraved human being that has an aberrant behavior portraying my Jesus? No. This bald black lesbian needs to play right on out the door. And this is right off the cusp of her being, the witch and the wicked. Stick to stuff like that. Stick to the worldly evils, the secularism. Stay out of my Bible, because you're not Jesus. You don't look like Jesus. And just because you have dark skin and get DEI hired for this position doesn't make it right. It's disgusting that you guys feel that it's okay to keep coming across the line and messing in what we believe in, but at the same time telling us, oh, don't push on us what you believe. Don't push on us what you believe, but you want to keep cramming it down our throat and cramming it down our throat and cramming it down our throat that you're gay, that you're LGBT. Ooh, we don't care. What you do in the bedroom is your business. We don't care. Keep it over there. We keep our stuff over here. And if you press us about it, yeah, we'll share the love of Jesus on it. We'll put it on it. But that's because you're pressing us on the issue. Generally speaking, the Bible says to go out and make disciples of all men and share the word of God to all creatures. We will do that, but if you don't want to hear it, the Bible says to dust off your feet and roll out like an Autobot. So that's what we're going to do. But you guys keep coming over and thinking it's okay to dibble and dabble in our truth. Yes, our truth, because it's what we believe, but it is the truth. And you guys are going to be held accountable for it. You are going to be held accountable for it. Don't think you're going to get away. You're going to be held accountable for it. My prayer is that you would turn from your evil and wicked ways and repent and choose Jesus. That's what my prayer is. But if you don't want to do that, that's on you, not on me. That's your choice, not mine. But moving on with the community. Oh boy. This is unclassified information from a secret server in the CIA for them to be able to share ideas and talk and convene and do meetings. And these people are downright disgusting. These trans individuals are saying things and doing things that are not quite okay. I know it's hard for you to read, and if you guys want it, it'll be in my server. But they're saying things about their chopping off their wing dang doodles, sewing up their clam purses. Is disgusting. You are a part of the CIA. No wonder Trump cut y'all off. Pun intended. He cut y'all off because it's disgusting that you're using government time, which is our money, to talk about what you're doing when you can talk about this crap at home by yourself on a phone. Use your personal phone to text these people. Go have a little soiree together, but don't use government time, which is our money, to talk about this disgusting crap. No one cares. Only you care. And you're very, very upset because you've been cut off. You've been cut out. And it's good. We don't need your disease, as it were. And I'm being very liberal with my words tonight. Only liberal thing I really do. In our country, you guys are actually a weakness that needs to be cut out like a cancer. And I have no qualms with saying that because ultimately, you're just takers too, just like every other entity in the federal government. You're just a taker. You don't do anything but take. And I'm so glad that the military, as we spoke on last week, cut y'all out too. The army is a shining example. We're finally getting strength back into this country. You guys are disgusting. This is nasty. Nobody wants to know about this, and you think that nobody's going to ever see it. Well, it's been seen. Your DEI hires are gone now. Thank God for it, and God bless America, and God bless Trump for doing it. But it ultimately, we have come to a place in this country where normalcy is returning, and it's a blessing to have this normalcy returning. And I hope that it continues to return because we need it. It's a necessity. And we've come to the point in time where if we don't have this, we will never have it. So now is the time that we make this decision. Now is the time that we do what's necessary to right the wrongs that have been allowed in this country, because not everybody needs to be able to do what they want to do. And if they want to do it, they need to do it within their own confines of who they are and not try to push it or force it on anybody else. And Trump is a correction to that. So the Bible verse that we're using tonight, is Matthew 5:10 through 12. And it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say in all manners of evil against you, and you falsely, for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for it is great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." This goes out to the 70 individuals that lost their lives. And I'll host a brief moment of silence for them. And I'll say, thank you, Jesus, for them and the words that they shared with those that were on the earth while they were here. And your word says that great is their reward in heaven, because they laid down their lives for you, God. So I thank you for them. And I ask God to give peace to their family members and to lift their families up and let them know that these people died for a real cause, a true cause, and that they will, if they continue, see their family again. So it's a loss, a sad loss, but it's a great day in heaven, because the heaven rejoiced because they did what they were called to do and they lost their lives for it. So I thank God for that. But ending my show tonight, I thank you guys for coming. I appreciate y'all. And make sure you don't miss the forest for the trees. You guys have a good night. Thank you.